All right, so today we're jumping into something called community solar. And, on the surface, it sounds pretty simple. Share some sunshine, save some money. But what's hiding behind that simple idea is a seriously brilliant system full of high-tech wizardry and even some Nobel Prize-winning economics. Okay, let's get into it.
So let's just start with a really common question. Have you ever wanted to get in on the benefits of solar power? The cheaper bills, doing something good for the planet, but you just can't put panels on your own roof? Maybe you rent, maybe your roof is shaded. For a long time, that was just a dead end for a lot of people.
Well, it turns out there's an answer for that exact problem, and it's called community solar. It's a whole new way of thinking that's designed to open up solar power to pretty much anyone.
The basic idea here is honestly incredibly simple. Instead of a whole construction project on your house, you just subscribe to a local solar farm that's already built somewhere in your area. That means for you, there's no installation, no big upfront cost, and you never have to worry about maintenance. And the best part? It works for renters and homeowners, and it's a super easy way to shrink your carbon footprint.
That all sounds great, right? Almost too good to be true. And it definitely brings up some pretty obvious questions. How does subscribing to some solar farm over there have anything to do with my house over here? And, let's be honest, the most important question, how does this actually save me money? Okay, so the process is actually pretty clever. First off, the solar farm generates a bunch of clean electricity and just pumps it into the main power grid, just like any other power plant. Then, your regular utility company sees that you're a subscriber, and for your share of that solar power, they stick some credits on your monthly bill. And here's the kicker. You get a second separate bill from the solar company for those exact same credits, but they sell them to you at a discount. And that discount, that's the whole secret sauce. That's where you save money. For instance, a provider like US Light Energy guarantees a 10% savings on those credits. So let's say you get a $100 credit on your utility bill. You only have to pay the solar company $90 for it. Boom! That's $10 that stays in your pocket every single month. So from your perspective, day to day, pretty much nothing changes. You use your lights, use your TV, it all feels exactly the same. The only real difference, as this quote points out, is that part of what you owe is just canceled out by these solar credits, which show up on your bill as savings. Simple as that.
It feels so wonderfully simple. And for you, the user, it really is. But to make that smooth, easy experience happen, oh man, what's going on behind the scenes is an absolute technological marvel. And this is where things get really, really cool.
So, a community solar project isn't just a field of panels. It's way more sophisticated than that. What you're really looking at is a system called a microgrid. You can see it here. You've got the solar panels generating power, you've got batteries for storage, and you have all the different users, all connected together and then plugged into the main utility grid.
So what the heck is a community microgrid? Just think of it like a tiny, local, and super smart version of the big power grid. Its whole job is to intelligently juggle the power it gets from the sun and the power it's saved in batteries to meet everyone's needs in the most efficient way possible.
And that juggling is a massive technical challenge. It's this incredibly complex balancing act that's way more complicated than just sending power down a wire.
I mean, just think about all the moving parts the system has to deal with in real time. The sun isn't always shining, right? So solar power comes and goes. The amount of electricity everyone is using is changing constantly. And to top it all off, the price the utility charges for electricity changes throughout the day. So the billion-dollar question is, how do you optimize all of that to squeeze out the absolute most savings for everyone?
And this, right here, shows a huge part of the answer. Really smart energy storage. On a super sunny day, when the panels are making way more energy than people need, the system doesn't just let it go to waste. No way. Its optimization brain directs all that excess power into giant batteries, charging them up so that energy can be used later when it's dark or cloudy. And the result of that smart management is just staggering. This chart shows us that the system was able to slash the community's peak demand on the main grid by an incredible 62.6%. Now that's a huge deal because utility companies charge you a ton of money based on that peak usage. Cutting it by that much means massive, massive savings for everybody.
Okay, so the tech is amazing at saving money. We get that. But this creates a whole other complicated problem. With hundreds of different users who all use energy differently, how in the world do you split up those savings in a way that is actually fair to everybody?
The answer, amazingly, doesn't come from engineering. It comes from the world of economics and high-level math. We're talking about Nobel Prize-winning cooperative game theory.
The specific tool they use is called the Shapley value, and probably the best way to think about it is like this. Imagine a sports team that wins a big prize. The Shapley value is a mathematical way to figure out the exact contribution each individual player made to that victory.
It makes sure that everyone gets a share of the prize that is not equal, but equitable, based on how much they help the team win.
And this chart shows you exactly what that looks like. This is the Shapley value in action, deciding how to split up the financial benefits. You can see how different users, or loads as they're called, get different percentage shares. This isn't just some random split, it's a super precise calculation of each user's actual contribution to the whole group's success.
So, when you put it all together, you take that sophisticated tech that saves a bunch of money, and you combine it with this provably fair economic model, you create what the researchers call a massive cooperative advantage. It's the extra value you get because you're working together in a really smart, coordinated way.
And we are not talking about a trivial amount of money. On just one good sunny day, the study found that this cooperative system created over $1,800 in extra value that the users would have never seen if they were all acting alone. That is the power of this approach.
And check out this table. This shows that the system isn't a one-trick pony that only works on perfect days. It's a workhorse. It delivers serious cost reductions and peak demand cuts across all kinds of different scenarios. But look at that solar utilization line. This is wild. On a peak demand day, it hits 114.8%. How is that even possible? It means the system is so smart, it's not just using all of that day's solar power, it's also strategically using energy it stored in the batteries from the day before. It's playing chess, not checkers. And even on a low demand day, it's at over 100% utilization. Basically, zero solar energy is ever wasted.
Which really leaves us with one last really powerful question. Community solar proves that it's possible to build an energy system, at least on a small scale, that's technologically brilliant, economically efficient, and fundamentally fair for everyone. And it just makes you wonder, what if our entire grid could be this smart and this fair?